In this video tutorial, we'll talk about the layout of a default matrix. So I just opened a matrix from the timeline, and I just want to talk a little bit about the rows and columns and the layout of the matrix. So you can see that the rows here in the matrix correspond to the rows in the timeline. And hopefully you know that the rows in the timeline were initially created by the corresponding code buttons in a code window, as opposed to labels. So if you follow that logic, code buttons in the code window translate to rows in the timeline and matrix. As opposed to labels, so this north, south, east, west labels, buttons are labels here in the timeline. In the code window, and you can see that those translate to columns here in the matrix. So codes are rows, labels are columns, and let's double click on this east label. You can see that the group is enters. So when you create a group on a label in the code window, that's manifested in the matrix up here above the columns in this fashion where it categorizes or organizes your labels according to groups. So by looking at this, we can tell that in the bus row, there are basically 9 instances that have the north label on it. So for example, I'm zoomed in on the timeline a little bit here so you can see these instances a little bit better. Let me zoom in there. And you can see that some are selected there. That's because I single clicked on this 9. So let's say if I single click on this 5, there are some other instances selected there. So by single clicking on those instances, single clicking on these cells, I can find or filter for these selected instances very quickly. And if I double click on this cell, it'll actually make the movie of all, in this case, 9 instances in a single movie window here. Pretty simple and a great way to link your statistics to evidence.